Good morning. How you doing? And welcome back to another episode of the weekly deal analysis here in the Corner Barn. I am Chris Thompson, that bearded guy, creative guy. Each and every week, I find a random house on the internet and I analyze it for a cash deal and a creative deal. Let's get into it. This week, we are diving into North Carolina, 146 Luxon Place in Cary, North Carolina. 27513. If you don't know where Cary is, it's just outside of Raleigh. It's basically a suburb of Raleigh, North Carolina. So I found this house and it looks pretty good. Let's take a look at the pictures. Looks brick on the bottom, siding on top. Shutters look good, windows look good. Not seeing anything jumping out at me. It's kind of a horrible picture of the front of the house because it really doesn't show anything, really just kind of showing the front door. We got some virtual staging, but it looks like we got fresh paint everywhere, new carpeting, new flooring. Fireplace looks nice. So another virtual staging. Big master. Looks like a new kitchen. Got our basic cabinetry, stainless appliances, and some white countertops. Basement, pretty clean. Original mirror, I can tell by looking at this little line right here. Hard to see, but probably an older faucet as well. I'm not sure if they did anything in here. Overall, cleaned it up pretty well. Second bath. Another angle of the kitchen. Nice house. So I would definitely say this is going to be more than likely it's a flip. So let's dive into some of the numbers. So we got 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, just under 1,400 square feet. It was built in 1986. Oh, there we go. 206 days on the market. Now, that tells us whatever they've been trying to sell it for, nobody's willing to bite on that. What we got in our comments here? Closet. So comments really aren't telling us much. Let's see. Everything. Oh, lots of price changes. So they are certainly chasing the market down. Here, so they listed at 355 in, oh my goodness. They listed at 355 back in August, and they've been chasing the market ever since. Looks like they bought it for 307. And I don't know how they were going to make any money even at 355. Because overall national average of cost to sell is going to be 10%. It may be a little bit less than that for various different reasons, but there's 55 grand right there. So they had basically lost money from before they even started, plus the renovations. So whoever sold it in 20, whoever sold it to them made out like bandits because they only paid 170 for it. Taxes just under 2,400. See what else the old Zillow is telling us. All right, so here's our subject house. We got a sale at 335, 350. When was this 350? Or excuse me, these are both pending. So these are under contract right now. So values are pretty up. Let's see what this one is. All right, so there's an end unit townhouse, and they typically sell for more. Overall, same schematics here. And that only took 9 days. This one only took 9 days, and the other one has been on for over 200. What we got at the 350 here. This one's also pending. Pretty house. Much larger, so 350 seems more justified in 41 days. And then our recent sales are here in the yellow. So we got a 340, 360, 280, 325. So value-wise, I'm not seeing an issue with this, but clearly the local market is. See if we can find anything else in here. These are all off market. Hold here. For sale, for sale, for sale. There's quite a bit of inventory, and as you can see, these numbers are only around 300. 315, got a single family. So it looks like their direct competition is holding around that 300 mark. And after the last few years, a lot of people aren't used to it, but when there's more inventory, it's going to soften prices. So the market may not be dropping, but if there's more competition, then you're going to have to compete on price. But I think the condition of this thing is pretty great. All right. So we know all of that. All right. So first, we're going to analyze our cash deal. Where am I going? The invest nest. Got this pulled up in the invest nest. So here's kind of a overall picture. So typical townhome rows, you got 5 or 6 in a row, parking lot, all that stuff. And they're estimating the value at 330. Based on those comps, that seems like what the value at least was. Oh, it's in Wake County. Ooh, Open Door. If you know anything about investing and buying properties, Open Door is one of the big companies out there. You can skip trace them, but good luck with that. Yes, the invest nest does include skip tracing, but we already know that the owner is a company, so it's going to be a little bit harder. If you do like InvestNest, use my code Chris Thompson Real Estate at checkout, and you'll save 50% on your first month. I like it personally. I think it's a great site. It gives me the intel that I need. So check it out. They do offer a week free, and if you like it, sign up. Details, no mortgage. Yeah, they paid 307 for it. Open Door Property Trust. All right, so let's go analyze this thing with our calculator. All right, so our address is 146 Luxon Place. All right, so to figure out our purchase price, based on what some of the neighborhood is currently listed for at 300, we're going to use that 300 as our ARV. So if we're offering a cash price, because the conditions are really good, I'm going to offer 70% of that. 70% of 300. Can't do math in my head. 210. Our offer price is going to be 210. And what do we know with that offer price? They paid 307 for it. So that in and of itself is a $100,000 loss. They're probably not going to take that. I wouldn't. Closing cost, 2 points. Hard money costs, 2 points. Improvements, it looks in really good shape. So we're going to leave that at 0. Our down payment, we only want to put 20% down. And our interest rates, we'll do 7.25 because they have ticked down a little bit. We want a 25-year term, or excuse me, a 30-year term, not a 25. Rental price. Now, this one doesn't have an estimated rental price. So let's jump back over to Zillow and see what some of the area is renting for. Change up our view. Rent in this kind of area here. Now, these are all communities. 1,600 for this townhouse. pretty comparable. That's a 2-bedroom, 3-bath. More than likely, that's 2.5 bath. More communities. Standalone, 1725. Very, very comparable home right here. $1,600, 3.2. This one's a little smaller. 1,700, 1,650. Looks like there's quite a bit of competition out here, so I think we're going to play it safe and just go with 1,600 as our rent. We'll jump back over to the Invest Nest. We're going to say our projected rent is going to be 1,600. Property taxes, insurance, $100 a month. Management fee is 10%, 160. Tenant's going to be taking care of all of the utilities. Our war chest, repairs and maintenance, vacancy, and CapEx. We're going to hold 15% of our monthly rent to fill these each of these categories. We're planning for it to appreciate 2%. Rent increase over the years, 2%, pretty standard. Figure we'll probably hold this thing for 10 years, and we're real estate investors. We don't pay more than 5% commission. All right, ready to see what these numbers play out as? Ooh, wow. Even offering $100,000 less at today's rates, it's a loss. We'd have to come in substantially lower. Let's see if we can even break even on this. We would have to come in, wow. Wow. Even to just make $42 a month profit, we'd have to come in at 157.5. Let's kick this back to the 110 so we can finish our analysis here. So our all-in cash is almost $50,000 to lose $244 a month. That's not a good deal. Really don't need to review any of this because those numbers tell us all we need to know. Closing costs all in because we're paying both sides about $7,500. Our war chest reserves are going to be $244 a month. So if we didn't keep a war chest, then we would already be at our break-even price. But if you don't keep a war chest, you're asking for trouble. But you would have to hold this thing for 15 years before you really turned a profit on it. No, thank you. And this is where our potential creative solution would come in. So let's compare our rents to Section 8. So we were saying, what, 1,600 on average? We look at the HUD site for a 3-bedroom in this area, 2360. Now, you're probably not going to get that, but I like to knock about $200 off. So even at 2,100, let's plug that number back in and see if 2,100 works. Detail. Back to the calculator. All right, so let's say 2,100. If that changes things up. All right, so if you're going the Section 8 route, then you're actually turning a profit. $130 a month doesn't really get me excited, but it's still at least positive. So let's go do our creative analysis and we'll stick with that 2,100. Make a note of that. We'll stick with our 2,100 on rent because we're just doing analysis here to see what could work. 2,100. All right, so now we're going to come over to our creative calculator. If you want to get this creative calculator, go to my website, christhompsonteam.com. Download it for free. You can also get my copy of my contract there, the creative checklist that I have on there, free, just giving it away. Enjoy it. I hope it works for you. ARV, we're going to go with 300. On a creative deal, it gives us the ability to offer more. So we know that they paid 307 for this thing. So let's just try to break it down at 300 just to see what we get. Our interest rate we're going to offer, we know it's 7.5. The numbers really aren't great. So let's offer them a 2% interest rate. All right, so now we got our numbers. Figure out our PITI. I like to use bank rate. So our home purchase price is going to be 300,000, and we only want to put 5% down, which is going to be 15,000. 30-year AM. We said our interest rate is going to be 2%. Our zip code is, where's our zip code? 27513. 27513. And our property taxes monthly, this tells us that. And property taxes are, we'll round that up just a hair to 200. Wrong button. And it's pretty spot on, but let's round it up. Our homeowner's insurance is going to be $100 a month. And let's see what our numbers look like. All right, so our PITI, or principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, come out to $1,353 a month. So let's go to our creative calculator and plug that number in. TI is 13. What did I say that was? 1353. And our potential rents, we're going to run it on the HUD-based numbers of 2,100. So our gross cash flow, there's a number I can get excited about, is 747. War chest, which is going to be that 15%, is 315. Management, we're running at 21, is going to be that 10% at 210, giving us a net cash flow of $222 a month. Pretty decent return. Can't argue with that one too much. So our cash to seller, we said we're going to put 5% down, which was 15,000. Our agent commissions, they're not getting it done. So we're going to offer them 1 point just to be nice. There are no assignment fees because we're going direct to agent on this one. Closing costs, we're estimating is going to be about $10,000, and that is roughly 3.5%, 3.6%. Renos, we're using 0 because it looks like it's already turnkey. 2 months of holding costs. How do we come up with this number? PITI times 2. There aren't any arrears. They own it cash, and a good TC is going to cost you $1,000. So upfront cash out of pocket is going to be $32,506. So our ROI to get all of our money back out, our original investment, is going to be 12 years. And that's if we don't raise the rent at all. So really not a great deal in my perspective, but it may work for you. Who knows? So if you get a gradual 2% increase per year, you can chip away at this number pretty good. But whenever I'm analyzing a creative deal, I like to be able to recoup my original capital within 2 to 3 years. And that really is just based on the cash flow minus how much you have to put into it. So pretty simple number to come up with. So there is our cash and our creative analysis on 146 Luxon Place in Cary, North Carolina. I hope you found this valuable. And as you can see with the Invest Nest, with my creative calculator, using a lot of free stuff online, you don't have to break the bank on analyzing deals. You can do it pretty cost effectively. Now, yes, you can spend more on some of the fancier systems, and they're great. I'm not hating on them at all. But if you're just starting out, these are the sources that I would recommend. I would also, on something like this, confirm with a couple of local agents. Don't just take one person's opinion. One, on the value of the home and what they think it's truly worth, but more importantly, those rents, because there was a large discrepancy between that 1,600, what it looks like market rent is, and then the up to 23 plus for a Section 8. Figure out your math. always do your due diligence, and always, always, always check with somebody local. So that's going to wrap up this week's episode in the Corner Barn on the weekly deal analysis. Hopefully you got some value out of the cash analysis and the creative analysis. I am Chris Thompson, that bearded guy, the creative guy. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.